Awesome. Thank you everyone for coming, and for those of you that are on Zoom, sorry for some of the technical difficulties we were having, but we worked through it all. My name is Nicole. I'm with BAB Financial as their client relations manager. I'm really excited today. I got to meet Emily for her presentation. Thank you for coming up here from Phoenix this morning. Emily Krushefski is the co-founder and CEO of Emotional Innovation, a company that creates cutting-edge tools to help people build real-life skills outside of the therapy room through affordable and easy access formats. She's going to be giving a presentation today on something that many of us encounter, which is how our thoughts and fears can influence money management. She'll explain how these patterns can lead to common financial traps and share practical strategies to help balance our responses to support healthier decision making. The talk today is titled Shaped by Fear, and I hope that you'll find it both compelling and useful as you reflect on your own habits around spending money. A quick disclaimer, she is a licensed therapist. Any other information that she's delivering today is only for the purpose of life education and not as therapy or meant to treat any sort of mental health issues.
Sorry, guys.
Any of you joining us on Zoom, if you have questions, you can just raise your hand or drop a comment in the comment section, and Emily will be able to respond to you that way. And now I will turn it over to Emily.
Excellent. Can everybody hear me? Okay, I just want to make sure. I'm so excited to be here with you all today, talking about money, and I'd like to start by telling you all a tale of two children. Let's start with my son. Both of these children have different thoughts, beliefs, fears, and behaviors around money. My boy loves to spend money. He doesn't think about the future. He thinks about right now. He wants to get the most out of his life, and spending money might be part of it. He sends me texts saying, "Mom, I found the most amazing motorcycle. I've got to have it right now. If I wait till the summer, all the great weather will be gone, and I won't be able to enjoy it. There's no waiting. Who cares about the future?" Okay. Conversely, my daughter is incredibly conscientious about her spending. She really thinks a lot about saving for the future. She wants to make sure that she's always covered. She feels great when she sits at home on the couch, not spending money on movies or restaurants. She just wants to make sure she's secure. And as a result, she doesn't have very much fun. When the holidays come, she sends me texts saying, "Mom, I've thought a ton about what I need for the holiday gifts. Mostly, I think it's gonna be socks and tights this year." Not a lot of fun. When we think about the psychology of money, there is so much information out there. There is no way I could ever talk about all the things. Today, I am only going to talk about one tiny sliver, which is about how the things that we automatically consider, our thoughts, our preoccupations, and especially our fears, are often the things that we do really well. And our behavior, if it becomes problematic, is very often the result of the things we don't consider. When we think about human behavior, Very often, different concepts will fall on something called a continuum or a line, where the most extreme considerations will fall on the ends, and all the other perspectives that are more balanced will fall in the middle. When it is okay for us to be anywhere, wherever we fall is a natural response based on our genetics, our upbringing, however we may be formed, to think about certain aspects around issues. And this is exactly how it goes with money. There may be people who, like my son, think a lot about, let's make sure we get the most out of life. We want to make sure everybody has what they need right now. And then there may be people who are more like my daughter, who think, gosh, I want to save for the future. All of these perspectives are important. And the beauty of this is that we each see our own viewpoint. And all together, we tend to get all the angles. Now, where things become a problem is when we get focused on only one aspect of the concepts of money in this situation. Our world is very complicated. There's a lot of things happening and a lot of aspects to consider. So if we only think about one piece of it, we end up in extremes. Okay, is everybody with me so far? Good, I see nods. Okay. When we end up in extremes, that's when problems occur because we're only considering one aspect. When what we want to do is move ourselves a little bit even to considering the other aspects more toward the middle. The most effective behavior is in the middle because we're considering multiple views. Okay. To say more about this and to explain further, let's go back to the example. The things we fear and the things we worry about, if we get focused on our automatics and if they're singular, tend to make our situation worse. Back to my boy. Thinking about all the money he wants to spend and how he wants to get out there and ride his motorcycle. He doesn't think about his actual problem. His actual problem is that he has zero money saved for the future. His concern and his fear and his worries, he is completely preoccupied with the problem his sister has on the other end of the spectrum. He's not thinking about his own problem. He's thinking, I don't want to miss out. And the more he thinks about missing out, the more money the boy spends. And the worse his problem gets, the less money he's got saved away for the future. On the other end, it happens the same way for my daughter. Her problem is not enjoying her life. She doesn't get out and do things because she's so concerned about the future. She's worried about the problem her brother has on the other end of the spectrum. And the more she gets worried about that, the more she thinks, oh my gosh, I'm not going to have enough. I mean, she's got tons of money for her age. The more she thinks about that, the less she spends, the more she sits on the couch, and the worse her problems get. Is this starting to make sense to people? The things we think about are the things we've got handled. Where things become a problem is in the places we don't consider. So now, I want to start to bring this home. This isn't just a talk. This is a place where I'm hoping that you all can start to incorporate these ideas into your own lives. So let's start with a show of hands. I want you to think carefully And there are no wrong answers. Who here is more like my son? Who's getting the most out of life, really enjoying your time? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Come on, people. Tell me, who's more like this? Okay, all right. Now, who is more like my daughter? Now, there were people, I saw a lot of these. This guy, he's like, I don't know, maybe. Yeah, right. Okay, so that is exactly my point, is that sometimes people won't raise their hands because maybe you don't want to share, or maybe you're not sure, or maybe you're in the middle. And that's completely fine. Remember that on the continuum, people fall all along the line. Okay. Now, I'd like to invite you into the first activity, which is figuring out exactly how this problem relates for you particularly. I want you to start with the first part you're already thinking about. I want you to think about, are you on my daughter's side or are you on my son's side? Once you figure that out, in the second part of this activity, I want you to be thinking, why? I want you to defend your answer. I want you to consider your thoughts, your fears, your preoccupations, and your behavior. Look at yourself from the outside perspective and consider the data. I want you to think about yourself from the outside perspective. What would someone else think I am doing? And explain it and write it down. I'm curious, what did people find? Did you discover anything new about yourself as you were considering this activity? Oh, come on. Yeah.
So I'm the daughter.
You're the daughter?
I'm your daughter.
I'll move you over here. Here you are.
Yeah, so I know. I've been the daughter my whole life. And I was telling Patrick that over time, I've kind of moved more toward the middle. Part of that is my wife is definitely more of the son. Like we've kind of brought each other to the middle. And I think we've been, over time, really intentional about, okay, these are the things we like doing, and therefore that's where the dollars go. So that is taking a lot of trial and error and like a ton of years to figure that out.
I love this. You're going to solutions already. So I'm very, very happy that it seemed like our activity number 1 got you where I wanted you to be. Anybody else? Kathleen?
Yeah, I'll throw myself right under the bus. So I'm actually the opposite. I am the son. I was telling Glenn that you may not believe this, but when I graduated college, I actually had a little bit of credit card debt. And when I moved up here, I did the cardinal sin. I was like 26. I cashed in my 401k.
Oh, no.
Exactly.
Was it fun? Did you have fun?
No.
Oh, shoot.
I had to move to this very expensive place. So within 6 months of working with that group, I was like, oh no, what have I done?
Oh.
I can see very clearly. And so I've actually done the opposite and moved more towards my side of the continuum, of course. So, I think the way I describe it is I'm probably not funding our 529, our college savings plan, to the level that I, as a financial planner, think I should. And so sometimes we will elect to take a trip or something like that. And my reasoning is we can always take a loan for college, but I can't go back to a time in our life where our children want to travel with us. And so it's really finding the balance. But it's challenging to find the balance.
Agreed. And I love that you are giving that example and owning which side you show up on. I want us to remember there's nothing wrong with where we naturally are, because altogether, then we consider all the angles. I want to move from problems into solutions, because I don't know about you all, but I don't like it when people just say, here's the problem. I'm like, great. Now what do I do? I want to talk today about 3 possible solutions to help us move more toward the center of the continuum and to catch ourselves when our fears are pushing us toward the ends. The first of these you've already done, which is knowing where you fall on the continuum. Oftentimes, when we get in our heads about our preoccupations, we can get confused and think that we really need to work on, for Mike, saving money, and for Kathleen, making sure that we really get the most out of our time with our family. When in actuality, the thing we think about is the thing we are probably doing well already. The problems lie in what we're not considering. So, number 1 was to know where you are. Number 2 solution is to think about a mantra. A mantra is a thought that helps us come to balance, that we repeat to ourselves and really speaks to the situation so that we can remember. A mantra that I think oftentimes helps is thinking, I want to make sure I get the most out of my life and save for the future. Again, I want to get the most out of my life and save for the future. The third solution is a little bit what Kathleen mentioned and Mike mentioned, and also what my children did, which is finding people, systems, or programs that will regularly correct us in our thinking and show us the opposing views. Comically, my son dates a girl who is a finance major. We're all happy about this because she regularly reminds him to put his money away, and maybe he doesn't need that motorcycle right this second. Also, my daughter dates a guy who is really into the great outdoors. He's getting her off the couch. They get out and do things, which is great because it keeps her from retreating into her spaces and not doing anything fun. I want you all to start to think about these 3 solutions. Again, knowing where you fall, finding a mantra, and thinking about corrective people and systems as you move into the second activity. We're going to have the same system. In the first part of this activity, I invite you to be thinking, where exactly am I? How far out am I? Like I said, people are on the ends and all the way in the middle. So if we think about my son as a 1, because that's how much he has in his bank account, and my daughter as a 10, where are you all? Are you a 1? Are you a 10? Are you a 2? Are you a 6? Where are you on this continuum? Again, all the way on one side, trying to enjoy the most out of life, all the way on the other, thinking mostly about the future. On the second part, I would like to invite you to think about how you can employ 1, 2, or 3, so where you fall, a mantra, or systems or programs or people to help you push toward the middle. And again, remembering that it doesn't have to be perfect. For my daughter, if she just goes to a movie, it's better. And for my son, if he just puts a little bit of money away, it's better. It doesn't have to be a perfect solution. I hope that you got some good ideas about how to employ these things. I'm hearing a lot of good ideas as I'm walking around. And I want to urge you. Remember how I said about the continuum, how we all have natural places we fall? And based on that, we all get to see all the vantage points when we combine our efforts. I want to invite you to talk more about the things you find here in just a second, because I find a lot of times it's one thing to just say, oh, these are the 3 solutions. Just pay attention to where you are and use a mantra and find helpful people and systems. It is quite a different story to talk about details and practical solutions that you can employ in those specific ways. I am going to be asking you all, I'm going to talk about all of those specific ways again myself, and then I'm going to be asking you all to talk about the things that you came up with, because what might work for you might actually be a solution for you, and your idea might actually work for you all. So we want to make sure that we combine our creativity together. So don't be shy. And also, Kathleen pointed out to me that we may not be thinking necessarily about saving for the future. We may be in more of a situation where we're thinking about just keeping things in reserve. And so they're the same in our mindset here. Back to the first solution, which was thinking about where we fall. When I think about this, for me, a lot of times it helps just to realize that the thing I'm worried about is probably the thing I've got handled. And this goes for money and also other things, but for money, thinking about what I already have considered. So when I think about where I fall and I think about what I have handled, I want to take a step back and ask myself this very important question. Around financial decisions, what am I missing? Because the question about what am I missing might show up a lot of things that I can think of, oh my gosh, I didn't think about that and that and that. Thinking about the second solution, the mantra, there are two parts of this practical solution. First is finding a mantra that works for us and really speaks to the issues that we have. So for example, if you find yourself in retirement and you need to be enjoying your life, right? I would be thinking, if you've already got the money, you've already saved it up, you've already been like my daughter, now time to channel my son. If you're in that place, then you might want a mantra that says something like, get out there and live, right? We want mantras that help us to remember to push away from our natural responses. The second part about mantras that's important is to remember to use them. It doesn't help us at all if we just think about the most amazing mantra ever and then never think of it again. A couple ideas I have about mantras is to put them at the top of our budget sheet so that we see them all the time when we're thinking about money. Or also a great trick is to write it on a piece of paper, take a picture, and put it as a screensaver on your phone. So it's always right there. Did anybody have any really exciting mantras that you want to share, or any ideas about how you might be able to get that mantra in front of you? Yeah.
I don't know how exciting it is, but breaking routine. So I'm definitely the daughter.
Are you?
Like, don't really care.
Right here.
Yeah.
Two of us love socks.
Yeah.
Yes, lots and lots of socks.
Yeah, give me a 12-pack. But yeah, I just think like you you work so hard, to like save money, and sometimes you just maybe need a break. Have the quantitative thing, so it's okay to move towards the sun and go do something that's out of the norm for you.
I love that. Tell me your mantra again. Say it out loud.
Breaking routine.
Breaking routine. Yes. And that would work even if you were over here too. Right? Maybe he doesn't need the motorcycle by summer. That's a true story, by the way. Yeah. Okay. I really like that. Thank you so much. Back to the third solution, which is thinking about systems, people, or programs that can help us to make sure that we stay auto-corrected. I feel like one of the main practical solutions is the elephant in the room. One of the best ways that I think that we can keep ourselves on track around money is going to our financial planners, right? I mean, these people, they see it all. They know all the angles around money, and they probably have a pretty good bead on where each and every one of us fall on this continuum. I bet I could probably ask, Kathleen or Mike and say, hey, or Jeremy or Nicole, hey, where do we all fall? And they'd be like, oh yeah, you're a 2, you're a 1, you're 3. With all that said, they also are able, probably pretty deftly, to push us in the ways to make wise choices. Also, programs like our emotional innovations, things that help us to think outside our normal automatics, can make a huge difference. I hope that this idea of the continuum is sinking in, is making sense, and I'm excited for you all to take it and go out into the world, because you may find that this idea doesn't just work for money. There are so many places in human behavior where the continuum applies. Just to mention a few, things like making sure you have a clean house and making sure you have a house you can live in. Making sure that you prioritize work and making sure you prioritize rest. Being careful to consider the needs of others while also protecting your own interests. And these are just a few off the top of my head. There are so many different places where these different ways of thinking apply. And if you want to know more, I hope you will check out our emotional innovations. The website offers a whole program that tells you step by step how you can walk through different emotional skills, learning more about how you think, how to understand and manage emotions, how to make sense of your behavior, how to act how you want, and also how to build healthy relationships. And you also get a free month with your participation today, so there's nothing to lose.
Can I plug it really quick?
Sure.
Okay, so I think their website is super amazing. It is I would say like a really low stakes place to kind of keep up on mental health hygiene. And when I say low stakes, it's like very low cost and very low commitment. What's the average length of your video? Like 5 minutes?
5 to 10.
And so it's something that you can kind of like, oh, I have a quick minute, I'll just watch this. I like to call it mental health hygiene, but like I'll just watch this quick video. It's like very digestible, very easy to watch, and each video is something you can kind of just take away. Like, I don't want to say a hot tip because that kind of like minimizes what you actually take away, but I do encourage you to check it out. I think it's a really amazing resource. I agree. I check it out too.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you all so much for the encouragement. With all of that said, I will leave you with this. I encourage you to go out into your lives thinking about the continuum, being honest with yourself about where you fall on it, thinking about what you think, your preoccupations, what you notice, what you're probably already good at, and really looking at your behavior so that you can avoid being shaped by your fears. Thank you all so much for having me. I so appreciate it. I had so much fun. I appreciated your time and attention, and I'll be around if you have questions. Otherwise, I assume you're starving, so I should let you go. Thank you so much.